If your MCAT's coming up, then you should know the types of skeletal muscle fibers. Welcome back to day 12 of MCAT 528 and 28. Starting off, you should know that skeletal muscles are made of a bunch of fascicles, and each fascicle is made up of a mix of type 1 and type 2 muscle fibers. Now, type 1 muscle fibers are known as slow twitch, meaning that they have slow contraction speed and slow conduction velocity. Type 2, on the other hand, are generally known as the opposite, which are fast twitch. And you'll see what I mean by this in a second. There's one primary thing you should know about each of these types of muscles. Type 1 muscles are known for their greater capacity for oxidative phosphorylation, whereas type 2 are known for their glycolytic pathway. Just this one fact alone should help you understand as to why one is called slow twitch and one is called fast twitch, because glycolysis is a quick process and skips PDH, the TCA cycle, and the electron transport chain. However, you might also recognize that glycolysis produces less ATP, meaning that type 2 fibers fatigue more quickly than do type 1 fibers, which are known as the long-lasting muscle fibers. Now let's go more into why this is the case. Type 1 muscle fibers have higher capillary density surrounding them, as well as higher surface area, allowing for O2 to diffuse through. They also have a much higher myoglobin concentration, which is partially the reason why they are known as red fibers. And lastly, they have a much higher concentration of mitochondria than do type 2 muscles. Now, type 2 muscle fibers have a greater volume, yet a lower surface area, meaning that they're not able to receive as much oxygen. However, what makes type 2 muscle fibers so important is that they have high amounts of glycogen storage. You should remember that glycogen is usually stored in the liver, but also in muscle cells. So a lot of it would be in these type 2 muscle fibers. Along with type 2 muscle fibers' ability to create quick ATP from its abundant source of glucose, it also has creatine phosphate, which is able to produce more ATP through its phosphoryl group. Now, I know we went over this quickly, so just remember this one mnemonic, literally one. O for oxidative phosphorylation, N for numerous, meaning numerous mitochondria, and E for endurance, which brings us to our next point. Type 1 muscle fibers are longer lasting and are primarily used by bodies for most of our daily activities, such as me standing up right now. Type 2 muscle fibers, on the other hand, are used for shorter bursts of activity, such as me waving my hand. Now, while I could stand here for a long time, I would not be able to wave my hand constantly for that long. You might also want to note that the type 2 fibers have two subtypes, type 2A, as well as type 2B, also known as type 2X. Just know that type 2A are known as the intermediate, meaning that they're a mix of type 1 and type 2B. So type 2B is known as the pure fast twitch muscle, and you can see that it is quite the opposite of type 1. A defining characteristic of type 2B is that it is less able to reuptake calcium, causing an accumulation that prevents long-term use and increases fatigue, whereas type 1 muscle fibers are fatigue resistant.